You are listening to Spirit Live, and we are the Cypher with Paul, Ollie, Joe, and Shiloh.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to
The Cypher.
The Cypher!
And it's a very snowy day on this Friday afternoon. But, it's Friday nonetheless, And today we got a very special Friday, very special episode with Mr. Daniel Simpson.
Hello, guys.
Welcome.
What's going on? How's it going?
Good. We're chilling. We're excited to interview you. We're happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
How you doing? How you feeling today?
Today I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. I got to sleep in. I don't got class on Fridays.
True.
Cool.
Today is actually the start of something new for me. I'm trying to really organize my life a little bit more. So about 2 days ago, I pulled up my calendar on my phone and I'm like, all right, there's too many empty days here. And right now my life is kind of like all over the place. I need to start organizing things.
For sure.
So I did a lot of organizing and setting things up and all that, just trying to time things better. And now every day of every month is kind of full with something that I have to do, which is good because it's good to stay busy. So I'm trying to adjust into that new system that I created for myself.
For sure.
So
Gotta get that Mamba mentality,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Rest in peace, Kobe
I know,
Bryant,
you're gonna put me in a hole. Yeah, that's great.
It's
Was
true.
that one of your 2020 goals to kind of stay busy, or?
yeah, 2020. I mean, well,
Or
it should have
just goals in
started
general?
from. It's a goal in general. It should have started from since last year, but I mean, the new year came and it's like, okay, I might as well start fresh. It's a new year, and then I could
Start
just.
off right.
It's a nice
There
push.
you go.
Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
So I mean, I have many goals that I want to accomplish within this year, and then like just general goals as well. One of the first things I did to start off the year is I want to start journaling, and I just want to start writing about my week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And why? What was the motivation behind wanting to start journaling?
Well, I mean, normally you'd go talk to friends, you'd go talk to people in general, and they'll ask you, like, how was your day? How was your week? And all those kind of things. Sometimes you do so much, you don't even remember what you did this morning, the past week, a couple of days ago. You don't remember anything you did. You don't remember what you accomplished. And you go through so many emotions throughout the week as well. And it's like, I need to keep track of these things because... Well, I just like to have those kind of things documented.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I just need to write down something that I went through throughout the day. At the end of the day, I need to write that down. And then I just review it every Sunday, the beginning of the week. And then I just see, like, what did I go through that past week? And, what were my ups and my downs? What were the highlights of my week and all that? And then I just like to keep track of those because I can see if I'm making progress
For sure.
in the areas I want to grow or not.
Yeah. It's a great way of self-reflection. You can literally read it, and document it that way. So props to you.
Yeah.
All right, so as we dive into this interview, what city are you from? What city do you rep in the GTA?
I am from Scarborough.
He's a Scarborough man.
Scarborough man. Okay.
I am the most un-Scarborough man you know. Whatever that means. I am from Scarborough. I've been there all my life. I started off in Markham and Eglinton. Started off there until I was about 7 years old. My parents moved us out to Malvern when I was 7, and then I've been there the rest of my life. If you'd asked me that same question about a year or two ago, then I'd say I'm like an R&B artist.
Yeah.
But I just kind of grew out. I don't want to say I grew out of it. That's still an element of me. And if you hear my voice naturally, it would have R&B elements. But I mean, when you get into music and the more you start to listen to it, and then you're actually a songwriter, and then you're contributing to the music scene in general.
Yeah.
And you just start to appreciate all genres of music, and you'll listen to a lot of things you never thought you were going to listen to before.
Like country?
Yeah, man. So very special shout out to my mom. My mom, she's been singing from before I was even born, and she's kind of known for being the black woman that has a country voice. So her name is Shirley Simpson. So
Shirley Simpson. I mean, yeah, that's a
it sounds country, right?
yeah, a nice name, but
very nice name. So I mean, even with that, I never thought I was ever gonna like dive into country myself, and I still haven't yet. But I mean, like just getting into music, learning how to play piano, learning how to play guitar, and just singing in general, and then making your own arrangements when you're writing, you start to take elements from all these other genres, and then you create it into what personifies you. So I mean, country, and I've been to Nashville about twice for more music business. I've been to Nashville twice, and that's all about country as well. And like, you really appreciate like the foundation of what country brought to music, and it's very cool. I'd say it's pretty underappreciated, but I mean, it's not for everybody at the same time,
for sure,
which is completely fine. It's a very cool thing.
So why do you think country attracts like a certain demographic of people only? Because now we're seeing the merge between country and trap, Lil Nas X, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a whole other demographic that's paying attention to that. But before that, it was just kind of like just white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mostly like Nashville is like, you know. So why do you think? Why do you think that?
I mean, generally the demographic when it comes to country, it's not black. And I mean, for us, hip hop has always been that staple. It's always been that thing for us, because I mean, it's kind of just the sound that we are looking for. I'd say that's what hip hop has. And country, it doesn't sound bad. It just, I guess some of us, we probably just can't relate to it, I'd say.
Right, yeah.
A lot of us, I mean, with some country songs, I guess some of them, they could sound cliche or whatever, which, I mean, that could be true. But I mean, for me at least, country, it's how I look at the songs is that they are stories. It's the same thing with hip hop too.
Yeah.
It's all stories.
Right.
It's just a different way of how they're playing it.
For sure.
And it's just their tone of voice, how they sing it. It's so interesting. It's not us. It is not us. But it's very interesting to hear, like, why do they sing things like this? And then that's just their environment from where they're coming from, and that's how they get their story out.
Right.
And me, I'm a person that loves to educate myself. I love learning new things. So I like to learn, you know, why is country made this way and all that kind of things. I mean, it's just the main difference between that and hip hop that just separates us. It's just all environment.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Do you think, in your aspect of R&B, do you think that R&B could evolve into kind of an R&B and country?
You can start a new genre.
For sure. I mean, with what I know with R&B, that's like, I guess if you're like diving into music theory, that's a whole lot of seventh and ninth chords and all that kind of stuff. And I guess I'd say in a way, country could be the foundation for a lot of things. It could be the foundation for a lot of things. But I mean, R&B in itself, that's also an influence of hip hop too. Yeah. And it could be an influence of pop as well.
Sure.
That's an influence from jazz and soul. R&B, the R&B scene in general, it's evolved so much from going from the early 2000s to where we are now. And it's just taken up a completely different form in itself, where you have like dark R&B or the new modern R&B, where you have like The Weeknd and Roy Woods, that kind of R&B. It's completely different, because those guys are completely different from like a Trey Songz or a Chris Brown, and
Boys
it's like
to Men.
Boys to See, now you're going back into like throwback R&B, like, and it's like it evolves so much, where it's like, me personally, I kind of lost where the line is of like what makes up R&B, because like a lot of things could be classified as R&B now.
For sure. And that probably comes with, like, now everyone's just genre bending. There's neo soul. There's just, you know, kind of blending everything together. You have bands like Funny People, which is like one of my favorite bands, blending reggae, funk, jazz, like literally all of it, and you're just confused as to what the genre is. So maybe like that has something to do with it. Maybe not the genre itself is evolving, but maybe it's just people are more open to blending things together, less categories.
I feel like they just don't want to be trapped inside one box anymore.
Right, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
People will take different sounds from different places, like you said, for inspiration, and they'll be like, oh, let me try this and see how it sounds
for
and
sure.
put it out and see how people react to it.
Literally Lil Nas X. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Trap country. Like
That's
that's the whole
the
thing.
biggest comeback I've come up. I've seen in a while. My God.
Very interesting.
He's been making like music like throughout his like life, but then like I saw this one video of him like literally like a week before like his song blew up. He was just like listening to it, eating pizza or something.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think that was the video, and
Yeah.
you never expect something to blow up.
Right.
But
You
then,
don't.
No.
Like that's the power on the internet, right?
Yeah,
For
and the
sure.
music industry, it's like it's weird.
It's so random.
It is.
It is so people can pour their heart out into a
Yep.
song, and that just might not be the one that
Yeah.
flies.
for sure.
And it could be the other song that
You
they
spend
put
2
out that was
seconds
just
on.
that you spent 2 seconds on. It was just a vibe,
Yeah.
and that's the one that catches everybody. And it's
Right,
just
right.
like, how? But I mean, I'm grateful, but
We
it's
s-
like,
Yeah,
how?
yeah, yeah.
We see that a lot with like Blueface. Like
Oh
I was
my-
watching,
yeah.
I was watching this one interview and he straight up was like, I don't even like music. I just wanted to just
Right.
make money. And then I'm like,
That's right.
wow, like that's this blew my mind.
It's
like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's with most artists I'm finding nowadays. Like Pop Smoke, I was watching an interview online,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Welcome to the Party" was recorded like in his friend's house. Like it took him 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Like they're like, "Oh,
Whoa.
how long did it take to make this song?" And he's like, I just recorded it at home with my friend, and I'm like, wow, like
I
so,
didn't
like,
even know that.
Yeah, it's like quick, and all the songs, honestly, like they all sound the same now. But like they're,
Yeah.
it's just quick. Yeah, I don't know. And then I think there's like there's like a formula I think to creating a hit song too at the same time. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
for sure.
Like when you listen to the radio, a lot of the songs sound very similar, and in terms of how catchy they are. So
I mean,
For
yeah,
sure.
there's like different techniques.
For sure, yeah.
I was reading about autotune last night. I had my essay.
Autotune?
Autotune,
Yeah.
yeah, in my essay, and apparently it was created by some engineer in some oil laboratory.
Right.
And after he put it out, there was this one artist.
T-Pain.
Not T-Pain. I mentioned him. I mentioned him in my essay.
We are
T-Pain.
getting there.
He did like really like take autotune to like a new level, but I think her name was Cher. Her song was called "Believe."
Okay.
And
Oh, I think I know what you're
her,
talking
yes,
about. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
that
man,
was
yeah.
one of the first songs to actually blow up.
right,
And
right.
it was like 3 a.m. last night. I'm listening to it. I'm like, I'm not a big fan of autotune, but
Yeah.
it can be done, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm like, wow, like this song, because of one like technique, just sort of is in the history books forever now.
Right.
That's
Even
right.
if you don't consider it good. But that's just my opinion. But
For sure.
but yeah,
Speaking
T-Pain.
of autotune, though, autotune is everything now.
Yeah.
That's
Like
true.
everyone's using autotune, and people, I don't even think they realize that they're noticing it
Yeah,
because they're so
yeah.
used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as extreme as like T-Pain, like
Yeah.
but it's just it's used.
Yeah.
T-Pain, he sort of built his career.
Oh, off
almost.
autotune. That's what
Yeah.
he
It's
Yeah.
strange because he can sing.
He can
didn't-
sing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And
It's
for
just-
him, it was more just of a vocal effect than to actually like, enhance what he
Yeah.
can do.
Right, right,
Which is,
right.
it's cool.
Yeah.
And now you have people like in their bars, they'll be referencing T-Pain, like add some autotune to feel the pain or something like that, right? And
He's
it's
definitely
like
a pioneer in the
exactly.
autotune.
Yeah. It also
realm.
reminded me of Kanye's 808s
Yeah.
and Heartbreak, right?
The classics.
Classics.
All-time favorite of mine.
Speaking of 808s and beats, today is Dilla Day, J Dilla Day.
J. Dilla Day.
So shout out J Dilla, one of the best producers of all time.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah.
I did not like actually remember him until you just brought him like
Yeah, Dilla's
up, like
the best
yeah.
producer of all time. I literally I have all of his CDs, listen to Dilla Donuts daily. Like it's quality stuff. But yeah, anyways, that was my little plug here.
Daniel, do you ever see yourself using autotune like that?
Well, I mean, autotune is like, I don't want to say it's essential. It depends on the genre, of course. For me, I use it to an extent because with me, and I say it in the humblest way, I know I can sing well enough
Right.
where I don't need it. But what you do need is pitch correction.
yeah.
Sure.
For me, autotune, I guess I would use it like just to a very small extent, just because I like to just keep the natural essence of my voice. I like when just hearing music in its naturalist form, or just hearing a voice in its naturalist form. For me, is just very. I like it because like
sure.
it's just very raw.
Right.
It just really shows like what you have, and then you don't hear all the processing and
Yeah.
all that technology stuff.
Right.
I feel like if you add a little bit, like, just to like tweak it in a bit, just so like I get it with like you want a raw voice and stuff, but sometimes it's just a little nice touch.
Yeah.
You know, just slightly, not
Of
too
course.
much, but
Oh yeah.
It depends on your style too.
Yeah.
Some
Depends on the
bands, it's
style.
like having autotune makes no sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like it really depends. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We never actually asked like, how do you dabble in music? Like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, are you a musician? Like, we haven't addressed that yet. I feel like that would help
That story.
provide some context for, yeah.
So, music. Music was not always a part of my life. I'm going to be honest. My mom was always singing, so I was around music. I've been in church all my life, so I was always around music. But I didn't get involved in music until I want to say 2013. I was in the 11th grade. I wasn't even involved in music then. That's when I started like actually thinking about even becoming an artist. And my reasoning behind it was like so vain. Oh my gosh.
What was the reasoning?
Okay, so I was in the 11th grade, just about to go into grade 12, and I'm thinking like, bro, what am I doing? I didn't have no idea what I'm doing after high school, and I'm just like, I'm not working a regular job though. I mean, you do have to do what you got to do, and that's completely fine. But I'm like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life working a regular job or just doing anything, even if I'm being paid well. I don't want to be doing something that I'm just not enjoying. I feel like I can accomplish so much more. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to just take a random decision and I guess I'll just become an artist. I'm just going to learn how to sing. With that, I mean, there's a lot of cash flow when you make it, when you're big. It's not a very realistic thing, but you just never know. You could be that one. So I'm like, I'm gonna give it a try. There's a lot of money in it. It's an extravagant lifestyle. Like once you have it, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try. I mean, I've never sang before. I didn't even know if I can sing at that point. It was just a random decision, and I'm like, hey, it might surprise a lot of people. They're like, hey, remember Daniel from high school? He sings, and I was like, wait, what? And it was like, I wanted to be that kind of guy. So, the very first song that I sang was Pursuit of Happiness by Kid Cudi, because in grade 11, grade 12, that was like my depression phase. Oh my God, that was fun times. That was the first song that I ever sang, and I thought it sounded okay. So I kept that to myself, and then I recorded it in my room, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I showed my mom first, and I was very nervous because when you have supportive moms, they freak out about every little thing that you do. They're like, oh my gosh.
They're just proud of you.
There you go. So I'm like, all right, Mom, I sang something. I want to show it to you. And then she just screamed to the top of the lungs. I'm like,
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'm like, I shouldn't have done this. So I'm like, all right, here's the song.
And your mom's a singer too, so that must have been like wild for her, right? To hear her own son
because she
singing.
never even asked me to be a singer. It's just something I chose. So she heard that, and like she was literally in tears because like, oh, her first son is like, he's singing now. I never asked him to become a singer. He just became one. And I'm like, wow, she enjoys it. Thank you. So literally that same week when we went to church, we just she showed all the members my song. I'm like, that was not part of my plan, but okay. She showed everybody, and they're like, Daniel, you're singing?
Join the choir.
Because I was the sound guy for church. So I was just the guy that just always played the CDs, adjusted the levels on the mics, and then no one knew like he's gonna be involved in music soon. So they really enjoyed that. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna. This is where the vain part comes in again. Maybe I might be able to be good enough to be a one-hit wonder. So I'm gonna just throw up that cover on YouTube and let's just hope it does numbers overnight. So I threw that up there, and I got about 300 views after some time. I can't remember how long that took. And I was discouraged. And now looking back at that was pretty stupid. Not putting it up, but me being discouraged because I'm like, I should be great. I mean, 300 views for your very first YouTube video.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
The fact you got more than 50 views or something, it's
For
like,
sure.
and it was just all positive comments, and like people are like, you have a really nice voice, like I would love to see you continue doing this. And because I was still young, I was vain, I'm like, I didn't blow up though. So I mean, of course I did put out a couple more videos. If you go far enough down in YouTube and
We're gonna
type
find them
in,
after the show.
oh my God.
Oh yeah.
You'll eventually find my beginnings in music, where I think I was lucky where I have a pretty nice tone with my voice. It just had to be ironed out, though. I had to get the training, but it was good enough to like at least listen to, and that's what kind of got me into it. But I took those positive comments from friends and family, and I'm like, okay, maybe, I don't know if they're just saying it because they care about me or whatever, but I think at least I sound okay enough to just walk into this path. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to learn all about music theory and just music in general from scratch, because I was never into music like that. I just listened to it, but I never wanted to be in it. So I go into college 2014 and I know nothing about music theory. I'm like that new kid on the block. I'm just learning everything from scratch. Thank God they shout out to CCC, Canada Christian College. They taught me how to play piano. That was my first time ever touching a piano before.
Okay.
That was intimidating, but I learned it. I learned my music theory. I got my vocal lessons, and that in itself just like, oh man, just getting the vocal lessons itself, that opened doors for me in terms of just performing and going out and actually calling myself a singer. Ever since I learned how to play piano right then and there, I was able to start writing my own songs and doing that. 2016 was the first time I wrote my first song. And ever since then, about 2016, that's when my mom got me involved, like singing live. And like I said earlier, I'm introverted. I'm very reserved. I don't like public speaking in any way. I don't even like going to the mall by myself. I just need to be by myself. So she's like, all right, this Sunday we're going to a different church to visit them, and I'm singing, but I want to bring you on stage and you're going to sing as well. I'm like, wait, what? And this is the first time I'm singing live in general. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, you're going to sing. And we sang together, and oh my gosh, everybody was just in shock.
That's the best way to also I want to talk about like church as well. Like that's the best environment if the church community is great for you. But
sure.
like that's like the best environment I feel like to have your first performance, just because the community is so supportive when it comes to music, especially.
Yes.
And like
Church
so many
gang.
artists and musicians, some of the best ones, like they were playing in church, they were singing in church. I'm noticing a common thread. So like,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Oh man, the musicians there are crazy.
It's
yo,
crazy.
yo.
Yeah.
Church-
Ollie, like
Ollie.
Hey,
churches
hey.
are like
Church be like that, you know.
yeah, churches are some of the best musicians.
That's right.
And artists and singers. Just because I guess you're doing it every Sunday, so so you naturally have
Sort
to.
of sing
it
consistent.
becomes your life.
Cause I was in church choir too, back when, you know,
Look at this guy.
like teenage church and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
All
church,
right, I
church,
see you.
church right out the womb.
From like middle school to like probably grade 11.
Oh,
Right.
cool.
I was probably like, I was like in the
In the
you
church
know?
choir, yeah.
Ollie does the audio now there. Too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
aren't you the
Yeah.
sound? You guys both
Yeah.
like do sound.
I do like
or
yeah,
used to.
I do sound like live. I guess it would be like live mixing now.
Yeah, I see.
Cool,
You
yeah.
posted that on your Instagram a couple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
for,
do like church hopping. Your churches. I went to church for like a little bit.
Yeah.
And I drummed for the church for a little bit, and then it was just like, I don't know, like, I don't know. It became for a while now. But I drummed for the church for a bit, and it was just like the actual church service was becoming repetitive, and I was just like bored. So then I just stopped going. But it definitely
happens,
broadens your horizons, like when a
It does.
church.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You learn a lot.
for sure. Yeah,
definitely.
So I mean, ultimately, I grew out of No, I'm still introverted. That's for sure. But I grew out of my like stage shyness, and my mom threw a big concert for me sometime in 2016, where I finally did my first album. That was just all like it was just a cover album, I'd say. I did my very first album, and then that's how I got into my very first like studio session, seeing how everything works in there.
Yeah.
And I still had like limited knowledge about like piano and all that, so I couldn't contribute in that. All I had to do was just go in, sing, and get out, and just let the engineers and everything do that. It was a great concert.
What year was the concert?
2016.
Okay, so not that long ago.
My
4 years ago.
my very first concert.
Cool. And did that happen in Scarborough?
That
Or
happened
Whitby?
in Scarborough.
Okay,
Yeah. All
cool.
my concerts are all.
Scarborough.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
What did I do? I ended up going to My home country. I went to Grenada. I've only been there on 2 occasions actually. When I was 9 months, but that doesn't count because I don't remember that. And then that time, 2016, when I was like 20, that's when I was there, and there was this big gospel show going on, and it's kind of I guess if you think like America's Got Talent, but gospel.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, and then they kind of treated me like I was that artist coming from overseas or whatever. I'm not a celebrity, but that's how they had me in commercials and everything.
Oh my God.
Wow. I just started like singing like months ago, but okay.
Right.
So that happened. I went down there. That was my first time traveling and doing that. It was very cool. I mean, it was an opportunity to just go home in the first place and then do that.
For sure, yeah.
So, I mean, I enjoyed that. 2017, that's when I first went to Nashville. And I went on this gospel show called The Bobby Jones Show. And that's a televised thing. That's where I performed my very first song that I wrote. I never put it up online yet. I'm actually producing that myself right now now
release it. Yes, let us know when you put it out.
For sure.
Yeah.
But that was my first time performing that, and it was even today I think that's like probably my most personal and favorite song I've ever written. I just can't show you guys 'cause I don't have it.
Right. No worries.
I got that, and then my last big performance, I'd say, well, not performance, but my like in terms of traveling was 2018. I went to New York, and I sang at the Apollo Theater, which was
big.
Super crazy for me because like
that is huge.
That was a random. All of my decisions are pretty random, to be honest. And then it's just by the grace of God it even works out. I went there, and I was like, it was on a Wednesday. That was a sold out show of like 1,500 people.
Oh wow!
Did you document it? Do you have like footage from it?
I had no. I was in too much shock and too much like
just absorbing the moment.
In the moment,
right? For sure. Damn,
I'm not even huge. Thinking like, yo, I gotta document this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you should grab someone like with the camera and just be like, hey, yo, just follow me around.
Just follow me.
Yeah. Like documentation is so important. Like,
it is
so important,
right?
Sure. And social media, like, I've been more like, I don't like social media. It's just so much work. Like, it's stressful to post.
Yeah.
You have to think about it. Just takes forever. Like, I just don't
We're
like
the
it.
Same.
I just don't like it. But my dad, he's like, Adam, and he's like, Shiloh, you got to post drumming footage from your gigs. Shiloh, you know what I mean? Otherwise, people don't know what you're doing. So now I've been kind of trying to post more, but even so, like, it just takes forever to like.
Yeah, like last week you took like so
long.
I
remember I was talking to you. I was literally like, I left class, and I was like scrolling through the footage, and I was like, but what about this clip? And it's just like, it just takes forever. I don't know. I don't like it.
You just got to put out content.
I know, and that's what I'm trying to do more now. But like, if you don't post your stuff, people don't even know that you're an artist.
That's true.
People don't know what you're doing. Like, so. It's weird. It's like if you don't post it, it doesn't exist, which is strange.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like, whatever. I don't know. It is what it is.
So for the concert that you did you? Was it only for you, or
it was only for me?
Oh, okay.
And
how did you get people to come in and stuff?
Well, I consider it a kind of like a cheat code. Since my mom has always been singing in church, she knows a lot of the churches and vice versa. My mom, she knows them very well in Scarborough. So she was able to get all of her friends from each church around the GTA and like, hey, my son is having a concert. This is his very first concert. Just, just come support him. And since they're good friends of my mom, they're going to come and see her son sing.
For sure.
So I already had a full house, and it was just of an audience of people that have watched me grow up already. So that was my first time ever gaining money from music.
Sure.
And I still remember.
How did that feel? Like,
oh, it was strange because I did have a part-time job at the time. I worked at a call center. Oh God,
call centers never experienced that, but
was
that
it for like duck cleaning or something?
Dark times.
Like I said, you gotta do what you gotta do. But that just plunged me into a depression. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But it was strange. Like at the end of the night, after I was done singing, I got home and then I have my suitcase with all my CDs. Well, where my CDs were, I sold all those. I had all the money that I did make that night. My mom and my dad, they took care of that. They put it in the suitcase and they're like, don't worry, you just go and perform, and then when you get home, all that's there. So I opened it and I'm like, wow, I really did that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do. This is more than I made at my part-time job. So I think the first thing I did the next day was I went and I bought myself a keyboard because I didn't have any keyboard at home to practice. If I want to practice, I got to go to school. I don't have time to do it all the time. So I got myself a keyboard that was my very first purchase, my big purchase from my very first concert. I made sure to write that down because that was like that was a very important, that was like a milestone in my life at that point. So I made sure to write that down, and I got that done. And then ever since then, it's just been all about, I guess, saving money. And any money I make from singing, that always goes back into music. I don't use it for anything else. Any other money I make from anything else, that goes into whatever.
Right. So what are your do you have any upcoming live shows or concerts, or what is that looking like for you right now? Is it more behind the scenes stuff like producing more music, making music, or is it now trying to book live shows, put yourself out there? Where are you at? I guess that's the question.
Right now, I do have. I'm actually singing at a good friend of me and my mom's. Her church is having a concert at the end of this month.
What's the name of the church?
Oh, I haven't been to her church before.
You got to know these things.
She sent it to my mom's email, so my mom has all the information. She's just like, you're gonna be singing at her church.
For sure.
So I gotta go and get all that done.
So like low-key, your mom is your manager
This
now.
I was gonna say.
Much,
yeah. Because most of, I guess, the people that have witnessed you sing have been kind of within the church community. So would you ever think of maybe broadening your audience and performing for other audiences and seeing how they take to your sound?
I mean, that's why I really appreciated the trip to the Apollo, because that was my first time singing to an audience that's not Christian based. It's just who's there, who is there.
Right.
And I was excited for that, because then now I can get an opinion that's just, I don't want to say it's biased, but I can get an opinion that's not like in favor of me.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was so cool. It was, I as you can see, I
Feeling
work here.
surreal. Yeah.
I have a deeper voice. So my song choice was "You Are Not Alone" by Michael Jackson, because I love that song, and that's what I decided to sing. Now, be warned, you're singing a Michael Jackson song in New York.
Right.
That in itself is like, that's a test.
Yeah.
And people are going to be like, you're going to sing a Michael Jackson song? You better be like the second coming of Michael Jackson.
Right.
Well, just for my tone alone, I'm not. But I mean,
but
we'll
you did
see
it.
how it goes.
You pulled it off, and
I did it, and it was crazy. There was a lot of other performers there. I was the only Canadian one there. So that I was like, I had a huge chip on my shoulder already. So, I mean, of course, it was some guy, I think, that was native to New York, that he ended up, like, doing the best that night, which is fine. I didn't even care about winning that night. It's just the fact I got to perform and do what I love.
Yeah.
So, literally walking out the backstage, and when the show was done, and just walking outside to go meet my brother and my mom at the front of the theater, I'm seeing all the people that's exiting from there, and they come and see me on the street, and they're like, yo, don't worry about the judges or whatever, or just don't even worry about not winning. Your performance was like really nice. People I've never met before. I don't know if they're Christian or not. It's just people outside of church. They're telling me this, and they're being very supportive, and they're like, I had this one couple come up to me and they're like, yo, I want to get a selfie with you because I know one day you're going to be somewhere big. So I need to say that I met you when you were not big, and I got this selfie with you.
Right. That's like almost the best feedback, getting it from just, even forget judges, forget the formality of things. The best feedback and like the best feeling comes from just like random people that were like, you killed it. You know what I mean? So
that's what it is. It's such a different type of energy you get from that. It's crazy. So I mean, ever since then, that kind of stuck with me, and I'm like, yo, people invested time and money into what I believe, so I can't like get lazy. I can't get complacent and get bored of what I gotta, like, you know, they invested in me, so I gotta make sure that they can reap what they've sown.
Right.
I gotta do what I can. It's just not even affecting me anymore. It's affecting everyone that's sown into me. So I mean, that's how I look at it.
It's a very humble way of living, so props to you.
You've got to be very
musicians.
humble in just life in general.
For sure.
Yeah. So you did ask what I'm doing right now. Like I said, I'm performing at the end of the month. But I like I said, I'm organizing my day a lot. So every week, I take 2 days out of the week, and I'm producing my own music. So normally everyone has like their own producer or whatever.
Yeah.
But as you know, that gets expensive.
Yeah.
That can be very timely. Sometimes you're just not in the mood to even be in the studio right now. You have other things to do. Or sometimes you are in the mood to be in the studio, but they're occupied with their own stuff because life happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't have my music relying on, I can't have someone else be like the foundation of me even getting my music out.
Yeah.
I need to at least know the basics of making my own song, putting it together, and I can put it out if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So I also learned music production at school and all those things. It helps knowing how to actually play an instrument and do all that. So now I've been producing since like 2017. I started off on GarageBand on my phone. That was like the easiest way of like easing into it.
Right.
I have so much of those beats on my phone that I eventually.
What DAW do you use now? What program?
Now I use FL Studio. I remember.
That's what you were trying. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get into FL Studio.
Yeah, FL Studio. Yeah.
One check I got from performing, I spent that entire check on buying FL Studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna use. I wanted. There was so much other things I wanted to buy, but I'm like, if I buy this, then it's gonna prove how serious I am to like learn this. And since I'm putting money into this, I'm not gonna waste it. I'm gonna learn this.
Right.
So I ended up buying FL Studio and learning from scratch. The amount of hours of videos on YouTube that I've watched just learning.
The dedication, the grind.
It takes so much time, but I'm like, if you want to know this and do it for yourself,
For sure.
you got to do it. So I mean,
Right.
in a way, Russ has kind of been like another inspiration for me.
Yeah.
Because that guy, his model is just all about do it yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, Russ, yeah?
I was just about to bring him up.
yeah,
Like, he produces his own music, writes his own, does everything.
He
Pretty much.
does everything himself. I mean, I know a lot of people might dislike him just because of like, I guess, his attitude and all that. But I mean, I do agree with just his way of doing everything for yourself. You'll know if you're being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
You'll know if you're being shortchanged in any way because now you're involved in it, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And it just keeps you in the loop of how things are going.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so I really respect his work ethic of just doing everything yourself.
He's very vogue. Like,
He's very smart.
right? Like, he knows what's going on in the industry. And there's video clips of him, like, telling people, like, if you're getting taken advantage of, like, you have to do something about it. Like, no other person's going to come in and, you know, save you or whatever. But,
You got to take care of yourself, man.
For sure. And you reap the rewards if you do everything yourself.
For sure.
You make all the money for yourself. You don't have to divvy it up among anyone. So.
Oh man, you see, that's the end goal. But what he doesn't talk about is how much time that it takes from you. Like,
right.
it takes a lot of time to put your own beats together,
For sure.
and then master it. And then, now I got to go and record my own vocals myself.
Oh,
I don't
for
got
sure.
someone press and play for me. I got to do that myself and then edit my own vocals. It takes so much time.
Yeah, the whole process. Then release it, then market yourself and everything.
And
You want to do it all yourself. Like,
and now I'm marketing myself.
right,
and it's just
right.
Yo,
It's difficult.
this is a team of one right now. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like you have to sort of go through this phase right now. Like, we talk about, in my business class, we talked about how you have to learn how to do everything yourself before you start getting like a lawyer or a producer, you know, like,
that's right.
just so you can be like, I know how to do this.
Yes.
Like, even if you're not there, I can do it. Right.
For sure.
There
And you
you
can
go.
catch the errors of if you hire people,
Yeah.
you should be knowing what's going on at all times.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you should be knowing if things are not being done properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have a general understanding, right?
Yeah.
So not just trusting anyone, you know?
There you go,
So,
man.
for
Knowledge
sure,
is key.
100%.
What were your thoughts on his new album?
Ooh, I made sure I got that. His Zoo album, right?
No, it was Shake the Snow Globe. It
Shake the
came
Snow
out like last week or something.
Ooh, I didn't even hear that
You
yet.
didn't hear it?
What? I didn't even know
Yeah.
he dropped an album
Yeah, yeah,
recently.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
If you don't know, now
It's
you know.
been like a week at least. The same day I think Lil Wayne dropped his.
Shoot. Yeah,
Like,
everyone
big
was
shout
talking
outs
about
last
Lil
week,
Wayne.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about Lil. So I didn't even know. What?
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Zoo then?
Zoo itself, that was a cool album. It was different from his very first one. It was cool. I mean, he's very good at sampling.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's very good at sampling. And then now that you know he makes his beats himself and all that, I'm really like, my ear at first, when I'm first listening to it, I'm not even like listening to it to enjoy the music.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to like every little detail of like how he produced it together. Like all the little sounds and why they came in at this part and all that kind of stuff. I love listening to that. So, and I'm just listening to the overall levels of like how the mixing is done and all that. And I'm like,
because mixing is like, it's difficult. Like
it's all ears.
Like when I'm editing the podcast or whatever, like after a few hours, your ears sort of just go like,
it's different. You feel different.
And it's like you have to sort of step away sometimes
For sure.
to refresh your ears.
Yeah, and like doing live music too, it's a whole other kind of mixing process.
Yeah.
Because like, you have to like, not only handle the higher pitches of the song, but also you also have to deal with the bass as well.
Yeah.
Because when my church did our event, Open Heavens, we had a few different sound engineers come in. And then people had to come through to them about like, oh, yo, can you just reduce the bass a bit? It's hitting my chest too hard, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and like, I think live events are definitely more of like a younger audience, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
To I guess in the sense of dealing with the kind of high energy of that.
Right,
For
like,
sure.
Yeah, but I mean, bass, it's a tricky thing. Like people like bass, but to a certain point, it's a lot of energy going through the air, right?
Yeah.
It
like,
is.
like it's like, I don't know the technical terms, but like a lot of frequencies, a lot of air being pushed. And usually when I went to the Logic concert, like it was good. Like there was bass, but it never really felt like it was attacking me, you know?
That's true.
It felt good.
Yeah.
In a
Right.
way.
For sure.
I like it when the bass is like I'm shaking. You know?
Yeah, that's me.
I
In
like
my
heavy
that's me in
bass.
my car when I'm driving, full bass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Like,
So, or go ahead.
As an artist, could you see yourself being signed to a label like OVO?
Yeah, is it signed or independent? What's
OVO.
the
You know, are you gonna be signed to OVO, or are you gonna go the Chance the Rapper way?
Oh my gosh.
Chance the Rapper, man.
Christian rap, religious. Mind you, that's a whole market in itself.
It is.
I was
For
watching
sure.
Rhythm and Flow
Oh, yeah.
with Cardi B,
Yeah,
Chance, and
yeah,
whatever. And there was a rapper. I don't remember what city it was in, but he was like a Christian, not like Christian rap, but like a lot of his lyrics have like
what was his name?
religious. I don't remember.
I
what
think I know
episode.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like religious undertones to
Yeah.
his stuff. But that's a whole market unto itself.
For sure.
A whole, and I haven't even discovered that.
Was it D Smoke?
Not D-Smoke?
Not
No.
D-Smoke, okay.
He won the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole market. That's a whole.
It's
Oh, yeah.
true.
I don't really know
Oh,
where I
yeah,
was going
for
with this.
sure.
So it's
'Cause,
a
like-
whole, yeah.
'Cause, like you have people like Israel Houghton, Ty Tribbett, like the Walls Group is the one as well.
Ooh,
So I don't know
yeah.
any of the. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
any of
either.
this.
All these just like
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's definitely a market, especially when you do touring. It's definitely where most of the money I feel comes through, because then you can market yourself in like the merchandise and all that. So it's definitely
Yeah, and you have an audience that's dedicated, like
For sure.
You know,
yeah.
the Christian community or whatever. It's,
yeah.
Yeah.
Support. Come out and support.
it's very true.
So I
Yeah.
don't really.
Me.
What was your question originally?
The label.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the label.
independent or label.
How I look at it is, well, first off, off the bat, I would say I want to stay independent. That's just like I said, I'm introverted. I'm very to myself, and I just want to do things my own way. But like how I look at like labels and all that, I look at it like if you've got to be an artist that is gonna give them a big return in what they're giving you.
Of course.
So I mean, it takes a lot of confidence to know that, okay, if I'm gonna sign this deal, I have to know that my music is going to sell, and that they're going to make the money back from what they're giving me. I have to know that, and you know, it gets complicated when you go into the whole rights and owning your music kind of thing. And then that's when it starts getting lawyers involved and all that. And I hate paperwork.
Things can get pretty ugly really quick.
If you don't read and look into all that, I mean, that's what you got to also form good relationships and, you know, just set that standard. Just before you even get work involved, just set the relationship. But
It's big business. That's what it is.
it is.
And I think to even get scouted or signed to begin with, they know there's potential there. You know, they're not going to just sign anyone.
Yeah.
And then you have to deliver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to sound like I'm trying to model after us, But I don't mind just staying independent and just have like labels just down your back chasing you. I don't mind that.
Sure.
I mean, there's no like problem with going after like the Russ model, right? I feel like he's doing great. You know, he's living his life, recording in his like hotel room, and people are loving his sound. Like I think he's sort of found. I don't know how to explain
his,
it, but
niche.
He's found his niche.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
For sure. I mean, and then for me itself, I guess that it kind of is the dream. I don't need a big studio or anything. I just need my room, and I have what I need, and I can just make music whenever I want to. And then that's what I love about being independent. When you're independent, there's this whole humble factor that comes into it because it's just you. You don't got anyone pushing you. You just got to push yourself. You're very humble, and you have to learn to appreciate all the things that come your way and things that don't come your way.
True.
And I appreciate my humble beginnings and where I'm starting from. I appreciate making music in my bedroom. I don't have a big studio. I appreciate those little things, and it's transparent, and it's going to show in your music when you keep that.
Yeah.
It's also a lot of hard work. It's like being an entrepreneur, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. It's harder than it seems.
We've only got too much time, so we'll just do a few more questions. Yeah, like, would you rather date someone who's outside of the music industry or someone who is...
I'm actually curious, actually. I was talking to my friend, and this ties kind of into your question. Because you're Christian, right?
Right.
So I was talking to my friend about this. I was like, so what would... like dating outside of religion, how would that work? Like what do you look for? So would you look for someone that's like Christian and in the music scene, or like just kind of bring that in, because that adds a whole other layer to it. I feel like too.
For sure.
That would definitely have to be the first thing. They're just to avoid all the headaches. not from them, but just just the conflict is just like, because I'm coming from a Christian background.
Yeah,
and
certain
like,
values and
there you go. And I'm just like, yo, it's not worth it for you and for me. It's not worth it.
Right.
So first of all, I got to find someone that is like, that has that relationship with God first and foremost. Do they have to be like in music, like in the industry or not? I don't discriminate. I don't care, because like I said, I like to stay to myself anyway. So I mean, I don't really want to be with someone that's too out there, because then I'm kind of just gonna get dragged into that. I don't mind it, but it's not like, that's not what I want to do. I mean, if I have a preference, probably someone that is in the industry, because then there's no disconnect on our thinking. We already know what we're going through and what the industry is like, and I'm not feeling like I'm going through this journey alone. You're going through the same thing with me, so I mean, we both can relate to that. But if it's someone outside of that, that also brings in that humbleness factor. I get to just stay home and do all those kind of things, and just lay back, stay out of the limelight.
Right.
Unless, of course, I'm kind of like a come up for them, and then they want to get into it. I mean,
you never
it
know.
happens.
Random question before you go to your next. What's your horoscope sign?
You want to take a guess?
Like Taurus or Virgo?
My brother's a Virgo. Okay. I'm a Pisces.
Oh, Pisces. Interesting. Because I'm getting like just like earthy, like I don't know. I just wanted to ask. Yeah, like
I'm
very
a
just
water
grounded.
sign, and I can't even swim.
I learn how to swim.
Pisces are cool
I don't know much
people.
about Pisces. But yeah, cool.
All right. So for now, we'll move on to the next segment, because we don't have too much time in the studio. So we'll move on to the genius.
Daniel, can you freestyle? Is that a thing?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I cannot freestyle.
Well, today's the day you're gonna learn.
Today's the day.
Oh, we're gonna
you
see how this goes.
You don't have to if you don't want to,
We gonna find out.
I'm gonna give it a try.
Play something.
Are you a genius?
So for this song, is this like one of your first songs that you kind of uploaded? Just about.
This is my very first song I've actually uploaded.
Oh yeah.
Not the first song I've written, but uploaded, yes.
So in terms of this, is this more of who are you think thank you to?
First and foremost, it's just I wrote the song as a statement to God. Just just thank you for life. thank you for the ability to just be creative. Thank you for, being able to live and enjoy the things that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
But then that's always been the basis of it. But now I kind of use it also as a dedication for multiple things. My vocal teacher that I've had for my very first vocal teacher, she's a wonderful woman. She's the one that helped me discover my voice. She unfortunately passed away about 2 years ago, and 2-3 years ago. And that hit me really hard because I feel like I didn't even get to really thank her for everything that she's done for me because she started all this for me.
Yeah.
So
well, sending love your way. And
so I dedicate that song to her whenever I get the chance when I'm performing.
Okay.
That's great.
All right, let's move on to the Cypher.
What was that, Ollie?
I'm adding my own
Weird and awkward.
effects.
Bro, you can like adjust your like tone or whatever like after, right?
Yeah.
You don't gotta do
Do it
that.
now.
Add some reverb
We can add
after.
the echo and reverb after. So,
Like I've been meaning to call you out on it like every single time.
because when you edit, right, then you can't actually.
Yeah.
It's gonna be weird.
Like it's been a year we've been doing it, but
Oh my goodness, ridiculous. Yeah,
Alright.
that song. Thank you. The production is very clean.
Thank
Sounds
you.
great. Sounds
That
like
was
something.
not me producing. That was
Okay.
my producer and Mark and
Nonetheless,
Eddie Bullen.
nonetheless, it's very clean.
Could you ever see yourself being in like kind of like a music group, like Boys to Men or anything
Boys
similar
to
to
Men.
that? Or maybe even
A boy
Mindless
band.
Behavior too. You know.
Mindless. Do you
Boys.
remember Mindless Behavior? Do you
I remember
I'm having a
Mindless
nostalgic
Behavior.
phase where I've just
Behavior.
been listening to them like every day, and it's just yeah.
I
They
remember
were
them.
yeah, a whole vibe.
If I was in the, I have to say I prefer to be on my own, but I don't think it would be impossible for me to be in a group. I kind of already know what my role in the group would be already. If I was in a group, I'd just be, I wouldn't want to be like the lead in the group or anything. I'd just be that guy in the background that he can sing well. He doesn't have the crazy fandom or anything. He's just quiet. He just shows up and gets out, and that's it. Doesn't talk too much.
Okay.
I'm like the reserved one in the group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he's like the what would that translate to in mindless behavior? Maybe like Ray Ray.
Ooh.
I don't know. Whatever. Maybe Princeton, not Princeton. Okay, on to the
All right,
next.
Paul. Let's bring up the beats, and the first 3 beats are provided by Q, the producer.
Q from
Shana.
oh,
Yeah.
Q's just been coming with the beats.
Yeah,
Shout out.
man.
Shout out
He's-
Q. I've only met him once. Like,
Oh yeah.
from the first episode.
He's been coming clutch with these beats, and
Yeah.
for anyone who's interested in buying these beats, they are for sale.
Yes.
Okay.
Gotta get those R&B beats out here.
All right. It's very spacious. Okay.
It's like he should be like in a sauna or something, like yoga class.
If I can have you one way, if I can have you one way, laying in the sunlight night and day, if I can have you one way. Why you gotta be so hard to get? I dedicate all my time to you. Why you gotta make it so hard for me? I dedicate all my life to you. If I could have you one way, if I can have you one way, laying in the moonlight, night and day. If I can have you one way.
That's all I got off the top of the head right now.
Some fire. You have a very soft, like a pretty voice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was really good.
That was great.
That was really good.
That was tough. That was hard. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Were you freestyling off top or were you?
That was all. I've never used those lyrics before. That was
Okay,
all
well,
off the
it's
top.
your first time
Yeah.
at the Cypher freestyling. Freestyling is an art.
I think it also helps in terms of like just coming up with the chorus. In terms of just like.
For sure,
you know,
yeah.
just
That sounded solid to me.
I was trying to build the song in my head as it was going, so
yeah,
it was hard.
That's a skill for sure.
Maybe it can be like a future exercise that you do. You know?
Probably, man.
Alright, let's move on to the next beat. Way to seek.
Way too sleek. All right.
Way too sleek. Yeah.
Another yoga scene.
Well, that should be a fun one.
I'd like to do a song for those of you who take LSD.
Oh, I know what I want to say. Okay. Just to get you to walk in the room, to see the curls in your hair, to see the way you stare, your pearly blue eyes, oh, they're so divine. I wanna spend this time with you. You're looking way too sleek. You're way too good than the others in this room. My time stops when my eyes are on you. I see nobody else, only you. Oh, and a switch up.
That's a nice like breakdown.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no, you surprised me. Okay. And now we on the way home. We can take a detour, drop down
I'd like
that
to do a
long
song for those of you
road.
who take LSD.
Fire.
Yeah, that was
Insert
nice.
siren sound.
Insert
Ba, ba, ba,
sirens.
ba.
Yeah, exactly.
That was an X type beat at the end, wasn't it? It sounded like X.
Like I don't know, like Q is definitely on his beat.
Yeah.
That was a
you know?
good.
Yeah.
That's a
Really
good beat.
versatile too. The beats he's provided in the
Yeah.
other episodes.
Yeah, this is like completely out of my lane. So I'm like, the fact I'm even doing this is
For sure.
crazy.
Alright, let's do I Wish I Could.
Mm-hmm. All right.
How's your voice here? You're good?
I'm doing okay.
Good? Okay.
Had better days, but I'm
Should have
all
got water.
That's what I was gonna say. If you need water or like, you know.
You got some water.
Okay,
No
cool.
shade. I'm just saying like, yeah, I didn't mean to. That came off weird.
right. No, it's all right. I'm good. Dreamy, okay. I see you in my fantasies. You're the one I see in my dreams.
I wish I could say all the things, all the things I've got in my mind. But whenever I see you, I get so speechless. I can't even say everything on my heart. I get so emotional around you. You make it so hard to be so open. The only time I'm confident is in my dreams with you. 'Cause you can do the things I need you to. You take me to that place where all the bad things seem to go away, just to be wrapped up in your grace is everything I want to say. I wish I could just be here forever, to be locked up in your space. But I know I could never be enough for you. So I'll leave a prayer for you.
Okay. That's a good finish.
Okay.
Good.
That's like, is that like a new sound for you? Is this or?
This is all a new sound.
Yeah, maybe
for me.
like it sounds great.
Maybe you found your
Maybe
sound.
you'll find maybe you'll explore other sounds, and next thing you know, you know.
I gotta go home and record today anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll send you this when we release it, and you can like reference it too.
Oh, thank
It'll
you.
be up on Spotify.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't want to forget these lyrics, so I gotta remember.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was fire.
Thank you for the beats. This is like really stretched my brain, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's move on to more of a R&B trap type beat.
Oh, we're doing another one.
We got an
Y'all
X
are
type
just
beat
throwing the like.
Yeah, gotta exercise his mind, you know.
Exercise his throat. That's what you're trying to do.
Exercise his mind.
How long this one? Okay.
You're making me think.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
All right,
This is the fourth?
I think so, yeah. All right, Daniel, you good?
I'm alright. I'm just thinking.
We have 10 minutes, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Oops.
Taylor about the flex.
This takes me back to the days when everything wasn't easy. Surrounded but so alone. That's how I felt every day. Only living in my mind, forgetting about reality. Depression was my best friend, the only one to get me. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just wanna be happier. Have a different way. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just wanna be happier. A different way. That's all I got for now, man.
Yeah, no
This is
worries.
like bringing me back into my feelings.
It's an X beat though. So like,
Yeah,
that's
so
like his beats are
immediately that just made me like,
Well, we don't want to end it on a sorrowful note. I think we're good.
Yeah, amazing.
That's more than I do in a year.
So. I was gonna say I was satisfied after the first one, but I'll just have them coming, you know.
Yeah, you gotta showcase the talent that Toronto has, you know. You gotta push it to the limit.
Sure.
You know, we thank you, Daniel, for coming through.
Yes,
Hey
thank
man, you guys are amazing. You guys are doing a very amazing thing.
Likewise.
All the way from Whitby. You know, we got all the way from
Scarborough.
Whitby.
From Scarborough, but you know.
Yeah. Scarborough. Yeah.
Just have to clarify because Whitby and Scarborough are very
Very, very different pieces of the GTA. But we want to thank you again for coming through.
Thank you.
You know, it's a very snowy day on a Friday afternoon. But we want to appreciate you all for listening in and tuning in to the Cypher. Well, and thank you again, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Bye.
Peace out.
Peace.